A hero had himself tied to the mast and ordered his men to ignore his screams, just to survive the deadliest song ever sung. But the Sirens were only the first trap. Just beyond them waited two monsters at once, and a choice with no good answer. Which of his men would he let die? Fresh from the land of the dead, Odysseus returned to the witch Circe, who warned him of every horror still between him and home. First, she said, came the Sirens, creatures who sang so sweetly that every sailor who heard them steered toward their voice and died on the rocks. Their island piled white with the bones of men. Her plan was strange. Seal every man's ears with soft beeswax so they hear nothing, but leave one man able to listen and bind him to the mast. Odysseus wanted to hear the song no living man had survived, so he had himself lashed to the mast and ordered the crew, "No matter how I scream, do not untie me. Row." As the ship slid into a dead, windless calm, the Sirens began to sing. They sang his name. They promised him all the wisdom of the world. He strained against the ropes, screaming to be freed, his face twisted with longing. But his deaf crew only rowed harder and bound him tighter, until the song faded behind them. He had survived the Sirens, but Circe's darkest warning was still ahead. A narrow strait, guarded on both sides at once. On one side lurked Charybdis, a vast whirlpool that swallowed the whole sea 3 times a day, and any ship with it. On the other, in a high cave, lived Scylla, a shrieking monster with 6 long necks, 6 heads, and rows of teeth, each head built to snatch one man. This was the choice Circe had forced on him: sail close to Charybdis and lose everyone. Sail close to Scylla and lose only 6. There was no path that saved them all, so he chose. He steered towards Scylla and said nothing to his men about the heads waiting above, so they would not freeze in terror and drop their oars. As they rowed past, Scylla struck. 6 heads darted down and seized his 6 strongest men, lifting them screaming into the air. They called his name, reaching down for him, as the monster devoured them above the deck. He said it was the most pitiful thing he saw in all his years at sea, and he could do nothing. They escaped the strait with the ship intact, but 6 men fewer. And ahead lay one last island, and one last warning he must not break. That story is next, so follow along, and we'll sail the rest of the Odyssey together.